Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. On this channel, I'm sharing my personal journey through fertility, IVF, in hopes of becoming a single mom by choice. On this video, I wanted to give you an update that I got re my AMH levels. So the AMH is your anti-Murlin hormone test for anyone that's going through fertility challenges or IVF. They will normally have this test done, and this test helps the doctor to determine if how many eggs you have left in your ovaries. Basically, the AMH is a hormone that's produced by the follicles that's in your ovaries, and so it just gives the doctor a snapshot of what your egg count is. Basically, it doesn't give an exact number like 1, 2, 3, 4. It has a range that they give, and if you're below a certain range, it means you have low ovarian reserve, and if you're above a certain number, you're in the norm, and if you're even higher, then you have a high reserve, right? So I first did this test in 2021, and it says here that my results in 2021 were 2.390, right? And at that time, I think I was 38. So based on the reference guide that they give here, that reference would have been between 0.16 to 7.35, right? So at the time, that was decent, right? I did one in 2023, but I can't find those results. But I did one this year, July 2024, when I was 40. And now my result is 1.180. So it has significantly fallen in the space of 3 years, right? Which is why the doctors always say, or hear people say on the internet, that like age 40 is where you is the death sentence basically for fertility, right? And that's because where everything is falling and you're getting ready to that next phase, right? So I've taken this news two ways. Like at first, it's really sad that the result is now 1.1. It means that I have less, like the success rate is not as great going through the IVF process. It also means more medication during the IVF process, and it also might mean it might take longer to actually get enough good eggs to be able to create a good embryo, right? So that was a bummer. At the same time, I am 41 now because I did this in July, but my birthday was September, so I'm 41 now. At 1.1, it means technically I am still fertile, which is good, right? Just that the process is going to be a lot harder, and I do feel like I am now running out of time. When it was at 2.39, I was like, okay, I still have time to go, but it has dropped off so dramatically during that time that I feel like I'm running out of time, and it feels like there's always something that keeps holding me back. First, it was the fibroids, then it was endometriosis, then I found out I had thyroid issues, which led to the grave disease, which took basically 2 years to get under control. And now that that is under control, I then had low DHA levels, which I'm now on some medication for that. Which brings me to my next test results that I wanted to talk to you guys about. The next one is I almost every 2 months or so I do a thyroid test, right? Just to make sure that I'm still in range. And this month I was in range. This is good. But my doctor also had me do what's called a prolactin test, right? Prolactin B. And so with the prolactin test, the range is 5.18, right, to 26.53, right? So when I did this test in May of this year, that's May now, I was in range at 14.49, which was good, right? So skip ahead to August. I've redone this test, and this prolactin B, remember the range is 5.8 to 26.3, and my prolactin is now at 30.91. I'm trying for the life of me to figure out what is it that I was doing in May to get a good prolactin result versus what I'm doing now in August to get a prolactin result that is so high. For the most part, I know that my thyroid levels can affect my prolactin results as well, but my thyroid levels have been good. The only main difference I'm noticing in the two is that, okay, so with the thyroid level, they check for three things, right? They test the T4, the T3, and the THSB. My T4 in May was 10.05, right? My T4 in August was 9.75, right? So those are still close in numbers, right? My T3 in May was 2.42, which is okay. And for August, it was 3.10, still not too far out. But I noticed that my THSB in May, it was 0.92, but in August, it is 2.53. And this is where the prolactin has also jumped. So I'm really wondering if my THSB level is what's affecting my prolactin level. The prolactin B is very important for the whole fertility and IVF process because it is a hormone that's produced by the pituitary gland. I need it for a couple of things, and this is why I feel like I'm behind and I can't move forward. So with the prolactin, it stimulates ovulation, right? So in order for me to even release eggs, right, I'm gonna need this hormone to work because it's responsible for releasing two other hormones, the follicle stimulating hormone and the luteinizing hormone, which is needed for ovulation, egg release, right? And then I'm gonna need it again for the creation of embryos. So that's one of the reasons why I need it. I also need it because it affects the menstrual cycle. So if your prolactin levels are too high, you'll have irregular periods. And basically, to start the IVF process, you need to start your period, right? So after you start your period and they retrieve the eggs and they do everything, again need it because it's also responsible for releasing estrogen into your system. And if it's too high, then it's gonna have a lower amount of estrogen that it's releasing, and you need your estrogen to thicken the lining of your uterus to help the embryo implant, right? And even if I get through all of that, I still need it in the end because prolactin is what prepares your body for breastfeeding, right? It allows you to breastfeed, produces the milk so that you can breastfeed. And so if my prolactin levels are too high, then I won't be producing any milk, which is needed during the whole pregnancy process and after. So again, another stumbling block. But I do have an appointment this week. I have an appointment with my gynecologist. So one of the main topics will be about the prolactin levels and see how best I can get this under control. They do say there are some natural ways you can do so by reducing stress. I have been under stress, and a lot of my stress, yes, work, but more importantly, has to do with this whole IVF process. So reducing stress, doing more exercises like yoga and meditation. So I'm gonna try that out and see how effective those are. Also regulating sleep, my sleep pattern has changed. I will admit that. I'm I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm feeling really tired earlier. So by 5, 6 o'clock, I'm feeling exhausted, right? So then by 7, 8 o'clock, I am asleep. And I actually take a medication at 9 o'clock, so I have to wake up again and take that medication. But then by midnight, 2 a.m., I am awake again, and then I have trouble falling back to sleep. So I'm gonna have to figure out a way how to normalize my sleep patterns. Um, but I'm also gonna ask my doctor if there is any medication to reduce the prolactin quicker, because again, I feel like I'm running out of time. I know I keep saying it, but that's literally how I feel, like I'm racing against this invisible clock, and I'm not going to be able to reach my goal before that clock runs out on me. I also have a second appointment this week. That's with the IVF clinic, Winter Fertility Unit as well. It's going to be my first official appointment with them. So I'll let you know how that goes and what kind of questions they ask me and stuff. And I'll give you that update at the end of the week. But thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, please like it and share with your friends who may be going through the same process or thinking of going through the same process. And I will see you in the next video. Have a good day.